Hey everyone, it's me, Aaron, Professor Thorgi, and welcome to another episode of Thorgi's Picks, the show every single week on this channel where I give you a quick comic book recommendation and then I provide you with a link in the description down below of where you can buy that book on Amazon. And if you buy that book or anything else on Amazon, as long as you start by going through that link, we get a small cut of the profits. It's a great way to treat yourself and help support this channel at the same time. I'm getting really good at saying that really fast. But today, the brand new West Coast Avengers book is coming out, and I have been really looking forward to this book. I love the creative team that's on this series. I think Kelly Thompson is one of the quickest rising stars over at Marvel at the moment. I've been really impressed by everything she's been putting out. It looks like it is a ton of fun, and I absolutely love the team that's on this book. It's just a collection of wacky, zany characters who you would never imagine all working on a team together, and now they're all going to be working on a team together. I look at this roster and I go, that is a team that is going to get up to some wacky shenanigans, and I love me some wacky shenanigans. So I have been really looking forward to that series. I wanted to recommend something today that kind of tied into that. Something to help promote that new series. So I was thinking of talking about Kelly Thompson's previous Hawkeye series, which featured Kate Bishop as the lead, and in many ways that's kind of the lead-in to this new West Coast Avengers series, because again, it's being written by the same person. Kate Bishop is going to be the leader of this new West Coast Avengers team. It is still set in California, where her previous series was. So I was thinking of spotlighting that, and in a way I kind of am, because I just gave you a description of it, and it is totally worth checking out, because it was really darn good. But no, if I'm going to pick one book that I should recommend to you today, it's a series that I've really been wanting to spotlight for a while now, because we have actually talked about on this channel before whenever we do our top 100 comics of the year list, because this always ends up on there and I'm always stunned at it. I'm talking about Unbelievable Gwenpool. I don't know why I set that up like it was some big reveal. You all clicked on the video, you saw the title card, you know what book I'm talking about. I really had no reason to try and hide what book I was actually going to discuss today. Anywho, let's go ahead and get into talking about Unbelievable Gwenpool, and one of the reasons I wanted to spotlight this book isn't just because it's incredibly good, and I will get into why it is a great series in just a moment, but I wanted to come in here and kind of give you all my background on the lead up to the release of Unbelievable Gwenpool. For anybody who doesn't know what Gwenpool is, 1 month over at Marvel, after the success of Spider-Gwen, they decided to do a month of theme covers where they would have Gwen Stacy on the cover of every Marvel comic dressed up as whatever the character was in that series. So on the Deadpool comic, they had Gwenpool, and it was Gwen Stacy in a pink Deadpool costume hanging out by the pool. And all of a sudden, Marvel started treating that like it was the greatest thing they had ever put out. We started seeing all this stuff rising up from Marvel of them coming in here and going, oh, we know you're all talking about it. Oh, this is the biggest thing. Oh, we know everyone wants more of this. And at the time, I was still working at the comic shop, and I was doing the YouTube videos talking about comics. So I saw people talking about comics in real life and on the internet, and I saw nobody out there talking about that cover. I heard no one discussing this. And not like I heard people saying negative things. I didn't hear anyone saying anything. It was like, okay, it's a cover. There's other covers out there. Here's some other Gwen Stacy covers. Here's some covers without Gwen Stacy on. No one at my shop really cared. No one on the internet really cared. But Marvel kept coming in here and saying everyone cares about this. So they started introducing Gwenpool in backup stories in the Howard the Duck series. And they didn't just introduce her in there, they came in here and said, we know you want it, it's your new favorite character. And I understand how the hype machine works. I understand you gotta get people excited for a thing. I understand you have to get people talking about something, so I understand that's partly what they were doing here. However, I hate the phrase, we know you want it. I hate that. Because that is nothing but big companies coming in here and basically just going, we're going to trick you into thinking that this is something that you want. I can't stand when companies do that. So when Marvel was advertising this character by coming in here and saying, we know you won, we know she's the most popular thing on the internet, I was like, no, she really isn't, and no one wants this. What on earth are you talking about? It almost felt to me like this was something that the people at Marvel started like hyping themselves up for. And they just kept talking about, oh, wouldn't it be a cool idea if we did this? Wouldn't it be a cool idea if we did this? And just kept going and going and going around and around the company until it was like, oh my god, everyone's talking about this. And it's like, I don't think, no one is talking about this thing. So yeah, I went into this thing just rolling my eyes so hard. And I had zero interest in this thing. And in all honesty, if I did not work at a comic book store, I don't know if I ever would have picked this thing up. But when the first issue came out, I said, you know what? I have so many less than positive feelings going into this. However, I have always stood by one rule when it comes to being a critic. Do not negatively critique something that you have not experienced. There are many movies out there that I will not say are bad because I have never seen them. I will come in here and I will say they sound bad, but I will not say they are bad until I have actually seen them. If you watch our movie review show here on the weekends, you know I try to go out there and see everything. I saw that stupid Slender Man movie. I try to see everything. And they're like, oh my goodness, this could be real. You know it's not. Oh my god, do you think that was real in there, what they were showing? No! I don't think this is real. And that's the point of this movie. So yeah, I don't want to be one of those critics who come in here and just say, this is awful, when I haven't read it at all. Or I just have those negative thoughts in my head going into it, and I let that eventually influence my final decision, so that no matter how good this thing ended up being, I was just so convinced that it was bad before I even read it that I was going to come in here and automatically say that it was bad. Or I was afraid, oh no, what if the audience that watches my videos turns on me because I say something is good? I am going to come in here and give you my thoughts on things no matter what, and I'm going to try and experience everything to try and be fair to everything. So I decided to read this. The first issue of this book totally won me over. Like, instantly. Yes, Gwenpool, the idea behind her is that she is a real human being from our reality. A reality where comic books exist. So she knows all about Marvel Comics because she's a huge comic book fan, and her name is Gwenpool. So it is no relation to Deadpool at all. But one day, she ends up getting sucked into the Marvel Universe. And she decides, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. So she kind of goes nuts in there. And originally, she starts off being a villain because she thinks, yeah, these aren't real people. If I just shoot them all, then who cares? It doesn't matter at all. I can just run around and do whatever I want. And I originally looked at that and I was like, okay, this could either go real positive or real negative. And I'm delighted to say that very quickly, it became pretty positive. In the first issue of this series, all of the fourth wall breaking jokes actually were pretty darn good. They were actually doing some kind of clever stuff in there that wasn't just her pointing out, oh, I'm in a comic book. They actually kind of had the story mold around her because she was like, yeah, I'm the star of this comic. It kind of has to work out this way. And then it actually would end up working out that way. So I was like, okay, that's actually kind of clever. That's not bad. But it still kind of felt a little bit surface level. You know, it was like, okay, these jokes are nice, but it's just those jokes. And I don't know how long that can carry me. I'm gonna need some depth in here. I will not spoil what happens. But at the end of the first issue, MODOK appears. And MODOK, you know, it's the big floating head guy. He's kind of a joke. He's kind of just, MODOK, no one cares about that guy. Oh, what you gonna do, kick me with your real tiny legs? He pops up after Gwenpool ends up ripping him off from a heist, and he comes in there looking for revenge. And Gwenpool looks at him and basically does the exact thing that I just did. Just goes, yeah, he's a joke. No one takes MODOK seriously. Don't worry, everybody. It's just MODOK. Oh, it's just the big floating head guy. And then MODOK immediately proves, you all think that because I go up against, like, Thor. You're not Thor. I'm an actual supervillain threat. Check this out. And again, I won't say what he does after that, but I was left speechless at the end of the first issue because that's when this book made it very clear what it was going to be. It's not just, hey, a Marvel fan going in there and breaking the fourth wall and making jokes about Marvel. No, not at all. It is what would happen if you, a comic book fan, got dropped in the Marvel Universe where everything is insanely deadly, where even the joke villains are more powerful and more dangerous than you are, and you have now gotten in way too deep. That is the stunning premise behind this series, and they pull it off masterfully. In the second issue, Thor pops up, and I looked at that and I was like, okay, so she's just gonna mess with Thor. Alright, we're gonna see what goes down with that. She does one thing to distract Thor, and as soon as she gets Thor's attention, she just looks at her and goes, oh my god, she's the goddess of thunder. She could destroy me with a blink of her eyes. I'm just a normal human. I got nothing here. And yeah, in that moment, I was like, oh my god, what's going to happen to Gwenpool? And what would I do in that situation? That's the point of Gwenpool. She is kind of supposed to be a little bit of an avatar for the audience because she is a big Marvel Comics fan, and you reading that book are a big Marvel Comics fan. Yeah, it does make you yourself kind of realize, oh shoot, yeah, this is a very dangerous world that I would find myself stuck in if I was in her shoes. They introduced that concept immediately. So yeah, there's lots of laughs in this series because, yeah, as I said, the jokes are legitimately good in this series. But there's also a ton of drama, a ton of tension because Gwenpool, she is kind of out of her element. She does now exist in a reality that is not her own, and everything is trying to kill her in there. So okay, there's some drama there. But there is also a metric ton of heart. That is the thing I was not expecting when I went into this series. There is so much heart in the Gwenpool book because the people who are writing it, you can tell they genuinely care about everything that's going on in there. You can feel how much the writer and the artist and the editors all care about this character and care about her supporting cast and her adventures. And they throw some other characters in there, like Batroc the Leaper, another kind of jokey Marvel character, another who cares Marvel character. They give him one of the most emotional moments I have experienced with any character. It happened at the very beginning of this year in issue number 24. I won't spoil what we have planned at the end of the year, but you know, we are going to do the top 10 moments in comics of the year. It's gonna be on there. I can't imagine something completely knocking it off the list. It will definitely be in our top 10 somewhere. It was that emotional of a moment, and it was for Batroc the freaking Leaper. But they made it work because this team cared, and you could feel that as you were reading this book. And as I said, Gwenpool can break the fourth wall. Gwenpool knows that she is in a comic book, and in the beginning, that's just her making winks and nods and references to other stuff. As the series goes along, it gets so creative. I don't want to spoil too many things for you, but this is one of the smartest gags that they did in the entire series. And I have to bring it up because this is the kind of thing where when I told people about this in my store, it's the thing that made them actually go, oh, I kind of want to read this book now. There was a moment in which he actually did finally meet Deadpool. It was during this storyline in which he got trapped by Arcade in one of his giant murder world simulations, which was a great moment in and of itself because she finds herself waking up in this Dungeons and Dragons style world, and this big wizard fellow is going, you must go on a quest of discovery and danger and murder. And then Gwenpool just goes, yeah, you're Arcade. And then he just goes, oh, what? Yeah, the whole murder thing, total dead giveaway. It's like, also, I mean, these are totally holograms. I know who you are, man. You're Arcade. It's like, oh man, it was such a good moment in there. But she runs into Deadpool in there, and Deadpool can also break the fourth wall. And Gwenpool is fighting Deadpool, and she's winning, and she's beating him, and then she says, yeah, I know the secret. I know no matter what, I'm going to win because this is my book. And then Deadpool just looks at her and goes, oh yeah? You turn the page, the artist changes. The art style completely changes to something different, and Gwenpool looks around and goes, wait, what just happened? And then Deadpool starts wailing on her. And it was one of those moments in which you just go, that's so incredibly smart. The fourth wall breaking character beat the other fourth wall breaking character by breaking the fourth wall better than that fourth wall breaking character did. That is genius. But as the series goes along, she starts experimenting with things like the panels and sound effects and all the other stuff that she can interact with because she can see them and she's aware of them that other people aren't aware of. It's actually insanely smart what they end up doing. I can't even describe to you some of the things that they do in here. Like, they have moments where she will, like, erase panels and start, like, reaching over to interact with herself in a later panel. And that doesn't sound like much, but what you see them end up doing with that concept is genius. The people behind this series were so creative. This was truly one of those once-in-a-lifetime style series. I can't imagine something else from Marvel really being this creative with the stuff that they end up doing. So yeah, I had to come in here today and spotlight Gwenpool because it really was one of the most special books out there for the 2 years that was running over at Marvel. I absolutely loved that series because it was loaded with so much humor and drama and heart, so much heart behind every single character. Not just Gwenpool, but every single one of the supporting characters that they introduced were so incredibly likable. And as I said, there was just boatloads of imagination behind this series. But I also had to spotlight this series because I wanted to come in here and just cop up to the fact that I was wrong. I went into this series thinking, oh god, this does not look like anything good, and it became something great. Yeah, as I said, Marvel was kind of just going down the checklist of all the things that I hate when big companies try to promote something, so I was kind of turned off to the very idea of Gwenpool, but I am so glad that I checked this series out, because this became one of those books that every single month when it came out, it was the first thing that I read. Like, I could not wait to read this series. And I'm really hoping that she continues to be something great over in the upcoming West Coast Avengers series. And again, I just have to bring it up. I did not think that this was going to be anything special, but I see a lot of people on the internet who hate Gwenpool, who have never read her series. However, I have also heard from a lot of you guys on Twitter and Tumblr who said, I never had any interest in Gwenpool, but you put her on your top 100 comics of the year list for 2 years straight, so I decided to check it out, and oh my god, it actually is really good. I have heard from those people who finally checked this series out and were completely turned around on it, just like I was. So I wanted to come in here and just do one full spotlight episode, letting you guys know I have heard from people that this book is worth it. I have heard from the people out there who were wagging their finger at it, just like I was, they turned around on it. So it's not just me out there, it's other people as well who have gone, no. This really, it sold me. I'm totally in. I'm all in on this character. So yeah, if you guys want to finally check out Gwenpool for yourself, I'll put a link in the description down below of where you can buy the first trade over on Amazon. And thank you guys very much for checking out this episode. If you liked it, then let me know in the comments down below what other series you would like me to spotlight in the future, or just let me know what you think of Gwenpool yourself. If you've read the series and you've enjoyed it, let me hear that too. And you can always contact me as well on Twitter, Twitch, and Tumblr at Professor Thorgi. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Come back next time. Bye.